Namaskar. Welcome all to the new series on Indian stories by Indian Tailbox of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, School of Spiritual and Cultural Studies. Many of the participants who are attending are well familiar with our team and has been attending many of our courses from Mahabharata, Ramayana, Hinduism, etc. And we thought of starting a new series, storytelling series, especially focused on the saint and sages, sages of Indian tradition. Because one level it will give us historical information, and the second level it will be a purifying, a kind of sanitizing experience for all the participants. Because as we passes through their life stories, the wisdom, the bhakti, the dedication which they had will purify all the entities. And we are fortunate to get the right person to tell the stories. All the stories in this series will be handled by our beloved Bala sir. I think some of you may be familiar who has actually studied in our Amradhavari campus, may be familiar and has met Dr. Bala sir also. He is the Dean Engineering of our School of Engineering in Amradhavari campus of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. So at one side, he is a material scientist and then has been teaching material science for several batches, several years. Past 20 years, he has been actively involved in our campus. That's on one side. And at the other side, he has been telling stories, stories of Ramana Maharshi, stories of sages, Andal story, and the other nine months, all the uh, sacred stories. I myself has been fortunate to listen several stories from Balasa. So we thought of starting this with the auspicious story of Andal herself. So last 10 minutes will be reserved for your comments, questions, etc. This will be recorded. So if somebody wants a recorded version, we'll share you. It will not be uploaded in public domain, only for the interested people that you can message me and then we'll share the record. Thank you. So welcome Bala sir once again to the first session of our Bhaktirasamritam. Over to you, sir.
Namaste to all of you. Thank you, Shivanand, for the kind introduction. Yes, when Shivanand approached me with this concept of telling stories about the Indian Mahatmas, I loved the idea because uh, when we read or hear these stories, or when we say these, more than maybe the listener, the person who says it gets benefited because the mind goes back and recollects um, the story. It becomes, I get the story, the settings, or maybe the temple where it was held, where it happened, the meaning of the songs may be involved in that, the traditions that come with that. And then what happens is that the mind gets purified and it comes back again alive. So I am very deeply fortunate that by Amma's grace, by God's grace, that I'm able to, I've been asked to participate in this, and I hope I'll be able to do a good job, and I hope you enjoy the storytelling. India is replete with stories of Mahatmas. In fact, every Mahatma has a unique, what shall I say, unique flavor to bring to the spiritual rasa of India. We have exceptional cases. We have exceptional. We have in the path of jnana, in the path of bhakti, in the path of karma, in the path in science, in so many achievements. There are so many remarkable personalities who have gone and literally changed this world. And when it comes to India, definitely it is a spiritual um, superheroes, I would say, through the ages, who have inspired and transformed this country. In fact, this is Mahatmas who have kept India alive, has kept Indian culture alive in spite of so many problems and Islam and invasions and economic troubles and all that our country has gone through the ages. It is these Mahatmas who have kept uh, uh, India alive. So today we are going to talk about a very remarkable saint, sage, Mahatma Andal. There's something unique and fantastic about her story. It's a very simple story in some ways, but it is incredibly profound in other ways. She was very few people have attained the pinnacle of spiritual achievement that Andal achieved. Very few. Very few. And in fact, when she, as the story goes, you will see, when she disappears in a blaze of light in the Srirangam temple, very few, only three or four recorded instances are there in history where when people who attain liberation, they even their body vanishes or when they attain that. Very, very interesting. Only three or four people are there like that in history. That's the first point. The second point is Andal, Kode as she was called, was a very young girl. And by the time she was 16, the story is over because that is when she disappears in a blaze of light in Srirangam. When she was barely 3 or 4, she has attained incredible heights of spirituality, very similar to our Amma. That's the second point. Third point, she has galvanized the entire Bhakti tradition of in the South and completely reset the spiritual goal. Because I will tell you about that. When she is talking about, oh Krishna, I'm going to ask you something very important. Nothing can compare to this. And this is what I want. This is the climax she's building up to in her songs. And I will tell you about that. The third point. And the fourth point is, from a literature point of view, her most famous work is Tirupavai. And Tirupavai is a set of just 30 verses, very small poem. But I'm not a scholar in Tirupavai. There are people who have done each one of those verses of Tirupavai. You can do a PhD in that. And it has a surface meaning and then it has a depth. It has an incredible depth. And that work, the literary work that she left behind, even today, people sing it. Thousands all over the world sing Tirupavai, especially in the month of Margazhi or December in India, which is supposed to be a very spiritual month. And it's a step-by-step process. The story, the song itself is a step-by-step process of bridal mysticism, where you consider God as your husband and you as his lover or wife, and you merge. So that's the third point. Then we have the social point. It has such a profound impact in the town of Srivilliputtur. So let's come to the story. In the town of Srivilliputtur, I don't know how many of you have visited this. Next time, maybe when I'm more savvy with Zoom, etc., I'll show you the photographs. But many of you, if you have gone to Tamil Nadu and you've seen the Tamil Nadu government symbol, it's a temple tower. It's a very large temple tower. And that temple tower is actually the Gopuram of the Srivilliputtur temple, where Andal lived and Andal was found, rather, and lived. And the Gopuram is beautiful. It's quite close here. It's a 3 or 4 hour drive from the ashram. Here we are from Amritapuri. And the Gopuram is the symbol for Tamil Nadu government. And it was the tallest Gopuram in India until the Srirangam Gopuram came. And that is very interesting that because there's an intimate connection between the Andal, Srivilliputtur, Gopuram and the Srirangam. There's very interesting connection between Srivilliputtur and Srirangam, as you will know, as you will see. So let me tell you in Srirangam, in Srivilliputtur, in that temple, when you enter the temple, you will see a Narasimha downstairs, a Yoga Narasimha. And when you go upstairs, you see the Vadabhadrasai, that is Vishnu lying on the Adisesham, on the banyan. It's supposed to represent the baby Krishna lying on the banyan leaf, but then it's also Vadabhadrasai. Now, in Srirangam, you have the most famous, it's supposed to be among the 108 Vaishnavite shrines in India. That Srirangam is number one. It's considered to be Bhuloka Vaikuntham, they call it. And there you have the majestic, incredibly beautiful image of Sriranganatha, that is Lord Vishnu lying on the serpent, Adisesha, and the eyes open and very beautiful, extremely beautiful temple. It's the largest temple in India, the largest temple in India. And it is awe-inspiring to have the Srirangam darshan. It's so beautiful. When I first went to the Srirangam temple, I did not know. And it's also houses the the living samadhi of Ramanuja, who was one of the greatest, who was the founder of Vishishta Advaita, which is one of the most important schools of philosophy in India, the saint. Interestingly, his Jiva Samadhi, he took Jiva Samadhi there, that is, his body is still preserved there. And if you can see, you can actually see his nails. He's sitting in a sitting position. He gave up his body, and you can still see his nails, etc. It's preserved there. He is a founding, just like Shankara for the Advaita tradition, Ramanuja for the Vishishta Advaita tradition. And so Srirangam is so very, very important. And so when I first went to the Srirangam temple, we first enter and you see the Garuda, the eagle on which Lord Vishnu is supposed to sit, the idol for that. And that was so huge and so beautiful, so lifelike. And the expression on Garuda's face is so beautiful. His hands are like that, and he's looking up into the sky as if waiting for his Lord to come. And the feathers, so beautiful. And I was just shocked. I said, my God, if the Garuda Vigraha, if the image of Garuda is so big, imagine how big the actual main idol would be. And yeah, it is. It's a very beautiful idol. It's very beautiful. And anyway, so this is the setting. So you have Srivilliputtur, this temple, and you have Srirangam, which is the other famous temple in Tamil Nadu. And this is the pretty much one of the two most important centers for Vaishnavism. And when I say Vishishta Advaitam, let me, little bit of the philosophy is, see, in Advaita, it says there is no difference between, we are essentially one. There is only one. The Jivatma and the Paramatma are one. It's a philosophy of oneness. Vishishta Advaita is a qualified oneness. It says we are same in quality. It is not in quantity. That is basically like waves on the sea. The waves on the sea, the wave is also water. The sea is also, ocean is also water. So Advaita says everything is water. But the wave, Vishishta Advaita says, see, the wave belongs to the ocean, but the ocean doesn't belong to the wave. The wave is a part of the ocean, but you cannot equate the wave to ocean. So Vishishta Advaita, it's a qualified duality. It's qualified non-duality. There is a difference. It's like sparks of the fire. All the sparks from a roaring forest fire, all these sparks are coming. Every spark is in quality same as the fire, but not in quantity, not in immensity. Well, so that's Vishishta Advaita. But there are many beautiful things, but we cannot go into that now. We want the story and not the philosophy. So there was this, let's get back. So in Srivilliputtur, there was this great philosopher saint called Vishnu Chittar. Vishnu Chittar literally means one whose mind is on Vishnu, is on God. He has himself composed many poems and himself has written many works, etc. He was already a great saint, obviously, because he is, as a story will show you how he was already a great saint. He was completely devoted to the Lord. His job in the temple every day, of course, he used to sing some praise of God and all that. His job was to make garlands for Vishnu. So every day he used to, chant hymns and his mantras, and he used to make beautiful flower garland and go and adorn Krishna, the Lord Vishnu, with that garland, and he used to enjoy the beauty of that. And he used to sing more songs, do his worship, etc., and come back. But he had one, so his life was full of the bliss of bhakti. But he had one longing in his heart, that he didn't have a child. He didn't have a child. So he used to pray to the Lord to get to be blessed with a child. And the Lord blessed him with the child. But what a child. Actually, one day in the Tulsi garden, you can still see that if you go to Srivilliputtur temple, on when you enter the temple, on the left-hand side, you'll see the Tulsi garden where this baby was found. So one day when he was going to the Tulsi garden to pick Tulsi leaves, Krishna loves Tulsi. So to make the Tulsi garland, he found this little baby on the ground. So some say that it's an incarnation of Bhuma Devi, of the Mother Earth. That and so, but he accepted the little baby as God's blessing to him, and he raised her as his own daughter. Her name was Kodai. Later on, came to be known as Andal, and she was brought up in the bliss of bhakti. She was brought up with all this. And she, at a very young age, developed an deep love for Krishna, deep love for God. She considered herself as Krishna's bride, that she used to marry Krishna. She has to marry only the Lord, Mahavishnu, and nobody else. That was her aim. Remember, she was only about 5 years old when she started writing these songs. And she started writing poems in praise of Krishna. Now, very similar parallel to Amma's life here. Amma started writing songs on Krishna when she was just 3 or 4 years old, right? That's what Amma's Ashtotram says. Achinna Madhurodhara Krishna Leela Anusandeyana. Just at the age of 3 or 4, Amma started writing songs on Krishna. Similarly, Kodai started writing songs on Krishna. And she imagines herself to be Krishna's bride in her main work, Tirupavai. I'll come to that. And every day she used to imagine herself to be Krishna's bride. She used to sing his songs. She used to uh, uh, compose poems on his honor. She used to be immersed in meditation and worship, and her mind focused on God. She's a great example of bridal mysticism. Bridal mysticism means when you consider yourself as a bride of God. See, there is a deep meaning in that. People don't understand that nowadays. They laugh at the relation of gopis and Krishna, but it has nothing to do with the body. It is to do all with love. See, in Indian tradition, there are 6 ways of approaching God. Sakya, Dasya, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura. These are the ways. That is, Shanta is like a calm, quiet way of approaching God, like the rishis in the forest through meditation. Dasya, like you can approach God through considering yourself as his servant, like Hanuman to Sri Rama. Sakya, like a friend, like Arjuna and Krishna. You consider God as your friend. Arjuna thought Krishna was a friend, right? And in fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that, forgive me for just calling you Kesava, Madhava, just considering you as a friend. Then Vatsalya, like like motherly love. You can consider God as your own child, like Yashoda to Krishna. And finally, Madhura, which is you consider God as your lover, as the with and the love of a chaste wife to her husband, how much she sacrifices herself for the husband's sake. Now, you can put it both ways. You can put it both ways. Um, you can put it both ways. In fact, in Tantra, there is, you can put it both ways. But bridal mysticism. So Andal considered even as a child that she would marry only Krishna. And she was composing songs and all that. And what she used to do, remember her father used to make garlands and give it to and put it on the Lord's image. So what she used to do, and the father used to weave the garlands, keep it in a basket, right, in the temple. Then he'll go to some other work. Then he'll come back, and then he will go to use the garland and put it on the Lord. But unknown to the father, what Andal used to do, what Kodai used to do, she used to take that garland and she used to put it on herself first. And she used to imagine herself as the bride of Krishna. And there is a small well there. And she used to look into the well. See, she's a 6, 7-year-old girl, innocent girl. She used to wear the garland and look into the well and see the reflection and see, am I beautiful enough for him? Am I beautiful enough for Krishna? That well is still there. When I went there, I went searching for the well. I went all over the place, but it's right there. It's not a big well. It's a very small well, actually. It's just an opening in the ground. You look at it and there is water. She used to look at the well, and the priest can tell you if you go there, they'll show you where the well is, where she used to look at herself. And she look at herself and see if it's beautiful. Then she used to say, yeah, it is very beautiful and all that. And she used to take the garland back and put it back in the basket which her father has left, and she used to go away. Then the unsuspecting father will come, take that garland and put it on Vishnu. So you're not supposed to wear the garland. No human being is supposed to wear the garland before offering it to God. So the father does not know that his daughter is taking the garland and posing, seeing how beautiful I am with it, etc. He doesn't know any of these things. So one day he is about to put the garland on the Lord when he sees a strand of hair. So Kode, obviously a young girl, she has a lot of hair. Her hair somehow got stuck on the garland. He sees a strand of hair and he is shocked. How can I put? How can I put a garland with hair? Somebody has worn this. Is very sad, and he is very heartbroken. Oh, I cannot offer the garland to the Lord now. Why is this happening? Somebody has worn this garland. This is very sad. And then so he does not put the garland for Vishnu that day, and he is very sad, and he goes back. And he wants to see who is it that who is wearing this garland. How can a hair come on that garland? And maybe it happened 2 3 days in a row, and then he must thought this is something is happening. Something is happening. So the next day, after he puts that garland, he uh, he after he weaves the garland and puts it in the basket, he goes outside and through the door he watches to see if somebody is coming and wearing that garland. And sure enough, he is shocked to find that his own daughter, Koda, is coming, taking the garland, wearing it, going to the well, looking into the well, and posing and remarking to herself, oh, this is nice, this is not so nice, etc., and coming and putting it back. And he is horrified because he has taught his daughter all the rules and regulations of the puja and the do's and the don'ts and all the observances, and she is such a pious person. And why would she do that? How can she break all these rules? See, that is a very important story point here, is when love comes, no rule matters. So in India is full of rituals and traditions, but every one of them is broken when love comes in. So later on, when we talk about the story of Bhakta Kannappa, you will see how all rules are broken. So God does not care about rules. He cares only about our heart. He cares only about our love. This is what the story says, shows. So he sees, he calls Andal and he's very angry. He says, how can you do this? How can he wear a garland that is supposed to be given for God, for Vishnu? Don't do this again. Don't never repeat this act. Your hair was this found on the garland. Now it is too impure, etc., etc., etc. And he scolds Andal and he is very upset and he goes to sleep and he tells, never again do this. Do not wear the garland that is meant for the Lord. And he goes to sleep. That day, Mahavishnu, Lord Vishnu comes in his dream. And the Lord says, God says, Krishna says, I want only those garlands that your daughter has worn. Don't give me anything else. She should try the garland first, and if it is beautiful and she likes it, only after she wears it, you should give it to me. Don't give me anything else. And the father is shocked. Then only he realizes how great his daughter is, or the daughter that he found. And he goes and begs her forgiveness. And after that, he says, and she will wear the garland, and only after she wears the garland, yeah, they will put it on on God. If you go to any temple in India today, it is absolute blasphemy. You cannot wear the garland and then put it on God. But here, this became the practice. So she used to wear it first, see how beautiful it is, and then give. Then one day, uh, and she started writing Tirupavai songs, which is world famous. Tirupavai songs, she considers herself as a gopi of Krishna. And she's telling everybody, right? She's, oh, come, she's telling her other girls, friends, come, wake up, wake up. We have to go to the Yamuna branch. We have to have a bath. We have to start our nonbu. Nonbu means a ritual where you have, where the girls who want to, especially for unmarried girls, used to do this ritual so that they will get married. So they have this ritual. And so she wants her girls, the songs, she describes herself as a gopi. She's imagining that she's in Vrindavan and the other friends of hers, her classmates or whatever friends she plays with are the other gopis, and they have to wake up. She goes to each one of their houses. She wakes them up. She's going there to the Lord, wakes him up because he has to give us a big gift. Come, come. That is what Tripavai says. I'll come to that in a minute. And then she writes all these songs, extremely beautiful songs. She goes to, she sings these songs, and his songs becomes famous. And one day her father asks her, which form of Krishna do you like the most? And then she asks him to describe, you describe to me the various forms. And then the father starts, there are 108 sacred abodes of Vishnu, of Sivan Narayana or Krishna in India. They're called Divya Desams. He starts describing first with Vrindavan, then Badrinath, then various temples, various shrines, Tirupati, etc., etc. And all says, okay, all that is all very nice. That is all. Finally, when he comes to Srirangam, when it comes to Srirangam, she blushes, and she says, that is one I love the most. And so that is the form she loves the most. And then, so she has identified which form of Krishna she wants to marry. And the father is okay. The father is happy with it, and she's okay. But he does not know what is going to happen. That night, Srirangam, the Lord of Srirangam, Mahavishnu, comes to the father's dream and says, tomorrow, bring your daughter to Srirangam, dress her up in. Now, this is a real story. You must understand it happened just 600, 700 years ago. It's all recorded. The places are there. The well is there. I have seen the well. The well she looked at is there. The Srirangam path is there. Where she went in Srirangam is there. All this is there. So then the Lord says, dress her up as a bride in bridal finery and bring her to Srirangam, and I will marry her. So the father is shocked. How is it that he's going to do? From Srivilliputtur, he has to go to Srirangam. It is a walk of maybe 100 kilometers. And so they dress her up in a bridal dress as a bride. They take her in a palanquin, and the whole village is following. His friends are following. Everybody is mystified. And everybody knows by now that she's a great saint because she's sung Tirupavai. She's constantly in bliss. She's constantly in another plane. But how exactly is God going to marry her? Is he going to come down and appear in front of all of them and marry her? How is he going to marry her? Right? She's a human being, right? This is not a mystical story. This is happening around 15, 14, around 8th century AD is when this story happened. 7th century, 8th century, they say. So, about 800 AD. So, that is around, 1600 years ago. So, and then, so they take her. They take her, dressing her up as a bride on a palanquin. They take her all the way to Srirangam. And everybody is tense and anxious and excited to wondering how this marriage is going to happen. How is God going to come down? How is he going to marry her? Everybody is ready. And she dresses up in her bridal finery and she goes to Srirangam. And as she enters the prakara, as she enters the innermost shrine where Ranganatha is lying down there, beautiful idol, she goes there and there is a blaze of light. There is a blaze of light and she vanishes into the idol. And she just vanishes. So that is what happens. And that spot is still there where she has vanished. And the father is shocked. Because on one side, he's amazed. His daughter has attained the highest. And what a Mahatma. On the other side, he has lost his daughter, right? He doesn't, so he has contradictory emotions. And then God comes to him and calls him Periyalvar, oh great one. In fact, God in his dream calls him Periyal, great devotee, great one. And but knowing that his daughter has merged in God, he's happy, and he takes consolation with that, and continues his life. And that is Andal's story. Her story is so famous because very few examples are there where even the body has vanished in this blaze of light. Next week we will see a Thirugnana Sambandar story. Similar thing happened. In Meera's story, same thing happened. Very three or four people only in the history of the Mahatmas Among the thousands of Mahatmas who have attained liberation and have attained God in India, very few are there where even the body vanishes. There is Meera was there, Jnanasamandar was there, Ramalinga Vallalar was there, Manika Vachegar was there. We will see these stories. And they're very unique. And what was left behind is their work. And what is most fascinating is the similarity in their work. And you will see. So now let's come back to Tirupavai. I'm finished. The story is over. In Tirupavai, she's first telling, oh, come. It starts with Margari, Tingal, Manirandan, Innalam, Nirada Poguvir. Let us come, have a bath. You're all dressed in fine jewels. Let us come. Each verse has two layers, three layers of meanings. In the beginning, it looks like one girl is calling the other girls, oh, you people are very, come, deck yourself with fine garlands. Let us go and bathe. What is the meaning is, you have all these, the ornaments, and Narayanan has to come. Lord Narayana is waiting to give us the pare. Pare means gift. And we have to tell him that he belongs to us. That is the give. That is the final thing. So come, wake up. We have to go and see Narayana. That's what she's telling the other friends in the story, in the song. But there's a deep meaning. Let us bathe in the nectar of bhakti. And these jewels that she's talking about are the good qualities that you need before you can approach bhakti. You are all adorned already with the jewels of jnana and vairagya. You already have dispassion. You already have selflessness. You already have knowledge. You already have so many good qualities. Now it is a time to bathe in bhakti. That is the meaning. Then she is describing what are the ritual rules that she is undergoing. And the third verse, she says, we will not adorn ourselves with flowers. We are going to undergo a fast for Krishna. We are going to avoid ghee and milk products. We are not going to, see, those days girls used to dress with a lot of flowers and they'll put this collyrium, the black mai in their we will not put the mai to mai unno, nei unno, mai unno means we will not take mai, we will not do that. What it means is we will not give importance to this body. And then she says, very good, one thing. I'll give you the actual Tamil words. I will tell you in a minute when you want to. And she says, we will not indulge in gossip. We will not talk ill of anybody. That's what she says. These are the rituals. So she's hinting to us what is the meaning. So one is purifying the mind. Two, not giving importance to the body. Three, not talking ill, loving others, serving others. She says, we are doing all that, so we're getting ready for Krishna. Then the next few verses, constantly she's saying, telling everybody, wake up, wake up. Why are you still asleep? Are you related to Kumbhakarna? She's telling, in Kumbhakarna, you all know that in Ramayana, there is a character called Kumbhakarna who sleeps 6 months out of a year. So she's telling in the next verses, wake up, wake up. Are you related to Kumbhakarna? Why are you sleeping like this? Wake up, wake up. It means wake up from this world of Maya. Wake up from your spiritual slumber. God is waiting for you. Then they go to the temple. In the Tirupavai, the next set of songs, the next set of verses shows, she's going to the temple and the temple is closed. Then she implores the doorkeeper to wake up and open the temple. Then she implores Mahalakshmi, Devi. She says, wake up the Lord. And that is where they say she's hinting about the need for a guru, the need for an intercession, the divine mother or the guru to wake up our own inner potential and to bring the Lord closer. Finally, the poem ends saying she wakes up the Lord and Krishna comes like a lion. He comes and she says, okay, now is the gift that I want to ask you. And this is what everybody thinks she's going to ask for moksha or for jnana or for liberation. She says very simply, this is the boon that I seek of you, that in the remaining 7,77 births, the remaining how many ever births that I take, that I should always be associated with you. How many ever births I should take, I should be at your lotus feet. Age janmam, I want to be your servant. I want to be with you. I don't want anything else other than being with you, being other than serving you completely. That is what she says. And I will read that. And I will read that. That is the last verse of Tirupavai, which is so famous. She says, Chitran Sirigale Vadune Chevit Potramare Adiye Potrum Porul Kela. It means, do you know why I have been worshipping you? Why I have been worshipping your lotus feet? Let me tell you why. She's telling to Krishna now. Petra Maitundum Kolatil Perdiri. Oh boy, who was born into the cowherd clan. I have given up everything. Now you cannot refuse to give me your grace. Now I am telling you, what is it that I want from you? எற்றைக்கும் ஏழே பிறவிக்கும் ஒன்றனோடு ஒற்றுமே யாவும் உனக்கே நாம் ஆட்செய்வோம். That is, for the next 70 births, for eternity, I want to be bound to you and to you alone. மற்றை நாம் காமங்கள் மற்றலோர் எம்பாவ. I do not want any other. May all other desires be transmuted into a desire to be with you. May nothing exist for me other than you. That is the height of love. She is not asking for liberation. She is not asking for jnana. She is not asking for anything worldly. She is not asking for eternal bliss or any of these things that people seek. She is just asking for love. How many ever births I take, may I be devoted to you. Utrume yavam unakke naam aatcheivom. And let me be your servant forever and forever, and change all other desires to that. So that is the intensity of bhakti. Etraikum eye piravikkum undranodu utrume yavam unakke naam aatcheivom. That is one of the most famous. Thousands of, I would say millions of people repeat that verse again and again for in India for the past 1,000 years. They have been repeating it. That is the, and that reminded me of Amma's bhajan. And there is a bhajan, Anandamayi Brahmamayi. When Amma wrote it, Amma told me she wrote it when she was 10 years old. And Amma says, Amma, in that she says, அறிவின் உறவே நின்னே அறியாம் ஆசைகள் எல்லாம் தெஜிப்பிக்கிறேன். O fountain of intelligence, in order for me to know you, may all other desires vanish from my heart. That's what Amma has written in that bhajan. And Amma was only 10 years old when she wrote that bhajan, Anandamayi Brahmamayi. So the striking parallel is there. So anyway, that is the first story of Andal. I hope I gave you a brief story. Very, very unique bridal mysticism. She considers Krishna her husband and she vanishes in a blaze of light in the Srirangam idol. So she's called Andal. Andal actually means she who ruled. Basically, God became her servant. Whatever she wanted, God did. No, I will wear only the garland she wears. I will come in the form she wants me to come. I will marry her in whatever temple she wants me to. You bring her here, and she vanished in a blaze of light. So, Andal means she conquered God. She actually conquered God through love, through her love. And so she is considered, and she was only 16 years old. And that is the other beauty in this. And she is considered perhaps as one of India's greatest examples of devotion. So anyway, we had Krishna Jayanti a few days ago, and her name is Kodai. And Amma just sang a bhajan a few days ago in which says Kodai Nayaka, oh Lord of Kodai. She sang one bhajan. And the similarity, Amma also started the Krishna Bhakti. And so the similarity was very striking. And so I thought that it will be wonderful to open this series with the Andal story. Interestingly, yesterday, I was just thinking about Srivilliputtur, and I have to tell this story today. And yesterday, one professor came from Srivilliputtur, and he gave me some prasad from there. And I take that as a sweet start to this story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, please ask me. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We all enjoyed as a comment came in our group. Very beautiful, sir. It is like my father telling me a story. So, now it's open for comments.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
I'm Subramaniam from Chennai.
Huh?
I'm Subramaniam from Chennai.
Yes, sir.
So, very interesting. I mean, you are a wonderful storyteller, I must tell you. It was
Thank you.
absorbing. I just want to add something to what you said. Periyalvar is the probably only devotee and only creator of verses where he has given blessings to Vishnu.
Yes.
Everyone praise Vishnu. He's the only one who gives Pallanda, which is long live. And this status he got because of Andal, because he becomes father-in-law of Vishnu.
Yes.
So I just thought I will add to that, because
Yes,
that
yes,
brings
yes.
us a real essence of the whole thing as well.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, for those of you, I'm not a scholar of Tirupavai, but Tirupavai is very vast, and it is very widely talked about, there have been lectures on it, has been widely discussed. You can check it out. And there are a lot of sources there on the net for that. It's very, very deep meaning, actually. It is not so simple. It's a very deep meaning. And there are a lot of subtle hints there. Thank you, sir. Yes, that is correct. Vimala Velayadam is asking, can I share the story of Tiruchendur Murugan Kovil? Okay, next time we will do that, madam. Another time we will do that. Tiruchendur Murugan Kovil. And then next time maybe we will see Jnana Sambandar or we will see Arunagirinathar. Okay. Yeah. So I thought I will do alternate, one Shaivite saint, one Vaishnavite saint, and then for Devi, maybe Avirami Pattar, like that. Any other questions?
There is a comment. Excellent session. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Simply like, yeah. Yeah, there is a question, sir. You can come.
What is the question?
Why is that Andal Devi's Vigraha found in Tirupati temples? I think in Tirupati temple there is a Vigraha of Andal Devi.
Yeah, actually, even today, see, Andal has, first of all, Andal's Vigram is found in many places, not only in Tirupati. Andal's, there is a separate temples for Andal in many places across the world. Tirupati is, after all, one of the most important Divya Deshams. So obviously, one of the greatest saints of the Vaishnavite tradition, her temple is there. But interestingly, on a particular day in Margazhi, Margazhi is the month she talks about in Tirupavai. So maybe there are others who know better the answer to this. Please answer this. Even today from Srivilliputtur, a garland is sent to Tirupati to adorn the Lord there. Even today, during Margazhi Masam, a garland is sent to Tirupati to adorn him from Andar, from Srivilliputtur, the temple. It is like, the marital garland is still going. So maybe that is the reason it is there. And Srirangam, of course, this is where she merged in Srirangam. So, yeah. Ramji principal is saying Srirangam is a sculpture of Andal's family depicted on the mandapam. Yes. Actually, when I went to Srivilliputtur, I'm more a Devi person. So I was actually going to Meenakshi temple. Then I stopped in Srivilliputtur. And I was searching for the well, etc. And then after some time, thanks to Amma's grace, after meeting Amma, I find that whenever I go to temple, darshan comes more easily. Somebody will come and help me. And it happened just 2 months ago in Srirangam also. And suddenly one priest came and explained everything about Andal and the temple and all that to me. And he described Andal's form and compared to Madurai Meenakshi. Andal's is on the right side. You have a parrot. You have the Kondai on the right side, and Andal also has a parrot. And there is a very great symbolism between Om and Andal, actually. And similarly between Meenakshi. Meenakshi married Shiva in Madurai, and Andal is the bride for Vishnu. So very similar iconography is there, and similar philosophical traditions are there. Okay.
Just to add, since somebody asked about Andal temple and Andal this thing, Sri Rangam's Andal has a specifically designed room, glass room. People who go to Sri Rangam must visit that. It is so beautiful that you can actually, in a very positive sense, I am saying you will fall in love for her. It is such a beautiful place, and the alankaram and all that they do is wonderful. So people who visit Srirangam must visit that place. I think it's called, it's full of glass, mirror made thing there in that room.
So, Guru Sangamesh is asking the question, what is the significance of Margazhi Masam? Margazhi is supposed to be a very spiritual month. So, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Masanam Margazhi Shoham. So, among the months, I am Margazhi. Margazhi is supposed to be a very spiritual month. Astrologically, it is when the sun is aligned with the Mula Nakshatra, which is supposed to be the root of the galaxy. The route of the Milky Way actually goes, the Earth goes around the sun, but the sun goes around the center of the Milky Way, and that is aligned with the Mula Nakshatra. And that is in Sagittarius. And so it's supposed to be a very spiritual month. And it's supposed to be the month where a lot of spiritual practices are undertaken. So I think that is the significance of the Margazhi month.
if I may add, sir, it is also because it is considered to be the early morning of the Devas, just before the Uttarayana starts. So, Taimasam, the Uttarayanam starts.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's considered to be the early Muhurta, like we call it Muhurta Kalam in the morning. It
Yes,
is a
yes.
Muhurta Kalam for the Devas.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Yes. So we consider the year as a Deva's day because 1 year here is supposed to be 1 day for the in that. So like that. If you consider like that, it is the early morning time for them. Yeah.
Next is a common. So,
Yeah.
Balasar, you
The
want to add?
garland for Andal,
Uh,
where it is not tied, it has two ends. It is very beautiful. That is right. But that is a way. I do not know the reason why specifically they do like that. I don't know if that is the type of garland that she put on Mahavishnu. Perhaps not, but I do not know. That's yes. It is also different from the other. It's not tied, and it is come. Yeah, it is like that. Yeah.
Swami, like my family, we pray to Mariamman. It's our village god because my family were farmers. So is that same thing like Andal? Mariamman is considered?
Mariamman is a form of Devi, actually a form of Durga. And she is also very related to the farming and all that. Because Mari refers to rain. And she is a form of a goddess which Muttumari it's called. And she gives rain. And some of them consider her also to be in charge of smallpox and all that. So basically, welfare, rural welfare. But Mariamman is more Durga. It's more the form of a divine mother, Durga, Devi. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Andal was not, Andal was lived as a human being. She was born on earth, or rather found on earth, and she lived as a human being until she was the age of 16. And she was a saint who attained, uh, you know, union with the Lord. So Mariamman is a form of Devi. It is not a form that took a human birth, etc., etc. So Meenakshi, on the other hand, took a human birth. She was born to the Pandya Raja as a human. Well, she was not human completely, but at the same time, she was on earth. Sri Krishna was on earth. But Mariamman is more a form of Durga Devi, it is not a, yeah.
Because I went to that kohil called Irkankudi Mariamman, and then there's a story in the river. They found a statue of Mariamman, and it says in the Irkankudi Mariamman, this is where I want you to build a temple. But they only found the statue of her.
Yeah. Like that, there are many stories. In fact, there is many. There are many places in India where people have received dreams where the God has come and said, "My idol is kept there." Many are there like that. Many places are there like that.
Thank you so much for the clarification. Thank you. Namah Shivaya.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. So, it was actually a journey through the Srivilliputtur temple, and you have not mentioned that that food item. No, we get
Oh,
a lot
Palgova.
of palgova.
That
I
is not.
visited only twice.
Yeah. Srivilliputtur is very famous for the Palgova, yes. But that is not, I don't know if it's linked to the temple because it's found in the shops outside the temple. Yeah.
Yeah. I visited twice, and both time I missed it. So next time I should. Okay. So it was actually a sweet journey to the life of Antar.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the participants, for the very active participants. Many questions, comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
We will conclude with Shanti Mantra. Oh, Loka
Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Namaskar.